Well, I haven't sat down to do one of these in a while, but hi, I'm Danny B, and welcome back to Danny B Needs a Minute, the show where I give my takes on the latest news happening involving NASCAR. This will be coming back in 2022 on Mondays and Fridays in the mornings. During the regular season of NASCAR, yes, it will be a Monday and Friday kind of show, but, you know, we're in the off-season, and there's been surprisingly a very busy off-season, but I guess that's to be expected going into the year with the NextGen car. But with that being said, let's get into the news. I do want to start making this back, as a Friday kind of show, and this gives me a good chance to get into the swing of things to kind of get us started. So, hi, welcome back to Danny B Needs a Minute. Let's talk about this week's news in NASCAR. Alright, so before we get into the biggest news, there is of course a few smaller stories that I do want to talk about before we get into this big one that's come out. Starting off, we had some NASCAR Xfinity Series news dropped by TobyChristie.com reporting that Parker Retzlaff, an 18-year-old standing out from the ARCA Menards E-Series, will be running a part-time schedule in the NASCAR Xfinity Series for RSS Racing for 2022. According to the article by TobyChristie.com, RSS Racing stated that they are excited to welcome Parker and his partners to the team for 2022. They say that they feel that they have all the resources in place to run a competitive multi-car team in the Xfinity Series next year and look forward to building their program for the future. Speaking of small teams with big announcements, Hill Motorsports, owned by Timmy Hill, made a big announcement that they will be going to a 2-truck team next year in 2022, and on top of that, Timmy Hill will be going full-time for the team as well. In the official release by the team, Hill was quoted saying, "It's so rewarding to see this program continue to progress each year, and he's excited to have all the pieces in place to take the next step for the organization with a second truck." After splitting the number 56 truck on a part-time basis with his younger brother Tyler Hill for the last 3 seasons, Timmy Hill will race full-time in the number 56 entry for his Truck Series team in 2022. Additionally, the team had been running with Chevrolet on what they could get for a little while, but now they are excited to announce that they are switching to Toyota and will run the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro in 2022. So it sounds to me like the team is got a better opportunity with Toyota for next year, so this is a move that you really like to see. Now, kind of stepping into the future, we see some big moves happening according to Forbes.com. This was shared by Matt Stalknick from NASCAR. This is emphasizing NASCAR enhancing their sports betting program heading into the 2022 season. This was written by Joe Wolkin of Forbes.com. According to the article by Wolkin, the sanctioning body is determined to continue its uptick when it comes to sports betting after becoming the first league to partner with the American Gaming Association in September of 2020. Not only is NASCAR implementing new ways for fans to bet on races, but the sport's leadership is making sure it won't hurt the integrity of stock car racing either. This is something that I think is a great opportunity here. Personally, for me, I've had the opportunity, thanks to DraftKings, to make a little bit of extra money throughout the year. When you feel like you have a knowledge of who could possibly win, I'll be honest, compared to other sports, there's a better chance to make more money betting on NASCAR. So if you are a fan of sports betting, NASCAR is definitely one that you want to look at, and NASCAR themselves seems to be on board with people betting on the sport. Myself, I have a few good moments where I won money this past season. I won about $70 when Kyle Busch won at Pocono last year, and then I won about $105 when Bubba Wallace won at Talladega. I won $116 when AJ Allmendinger won at the Indianapolis Road Course. We found out that Petty GMS Motorsports, which was recently acquired very recently the week of the NASCAR Championship Award celebrations in Nashville, Tennessee, has now announced that they will be known as Petty GMS Motorsports. They've announced that their numbers will be 42 and 43, 2 iconic numbers to the Petty family, and it's good to see those back. Ty Dillon will drive the 42, and Eric Jones will continue to drive the 43. Dale Earnhardt Jr. revealed that he was considering using the number 03 for that start next year, and here gives you an idea of what that car might have looked like. Basically, number 03, utilizing the 88 font. Kind of an interesting look. I don't know how I really feel about this, but it is interesting that they would have went with 03, because technically doesn't no one have the 3? RCR isn't using it. Jordan Anderson's using the 31, not the 3, so I don't know why he wouldn't have just had the 3 car. But either way, he is driving number 88 next year at Martinsville Speedway. And one of the bigger announcements that was just made yesterday, Landon Cassill has the opportunity of a lifetime. Voyager, which is a well-known company within the cryptocurrency market, they have been with him for the last year of JD Motorsports when he's been racing with them, but they are stepping up in a bigger way. He has been announced to drive the number 10 car for Colleague Racing. Truly a unique opportunity for Landon Cassill, probably the best opportunity he's ever had. His time with Junior Motorsports wasn't full-time, and nor was Junior Motorsports to the level that they are today. Also quite interesting, it appears that Landon Cassill will be getting paid via cryptocurrency, which could be a good thing if you look at it from this standpoint. Say, theoretically, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but say theoretically, Voyager gave him $1 million. Say the team needed $500,000 for him to run the full season. Again, I don't know the actual numbers, he might need more than that, he might need less than that. But say they needed $500,000. Well, now Landon Cassill has a remaining $500,000 of crypto. Say that money is managed properly by Landon Cassill, and he's pretty smart with this, it seems as though he definitely knows his stuff on this. Say that he sells it when it is at a high point, and he buys in when it is at a low point. He could possibly turn $500,000 into a lot more money. This is a deal that gives him a chance to race, and he could potentially make more money for himself doing this. Kind of an interesting strategy here, but we'll see how it really goes. Again, I don't really know if I'm talking correctly on this. I hope I am, but it's one of the more interesting sponsorship deals that we've seen in a long time for a driver. But as long as he's hitting the track, hey, I think everyone can be happy. And who knows, maybe he can win a race. And one last thing to report from our friends at TobyChristie.com, Chevrolet and Rev Racing have entered an agreement in which the manufacturer will provide support for NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program, as well as assisting in the development of drivers Rajah Caruth and Nick Sanchez. According to the article, Jim Campbell, Chevrolet U.S. Vice President of Performance and Motorsports, stated that they are proud to partner with Rev Racing to continue to support the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program in the development of diverse drivers and team members. This agreement will enable Rev Racing to leverage Chevrolet's competition engineering resources, including the General Motors Charlotte Technical Center. Likewise, Chevrolet will partner in the development efforts of both Rajah Caruth and Nick Sanchez, who will run full-time in the ARCA Menard Series and part-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2022. This is really interesting, especially considering Rajah Caruth going to Alpha Prime Motorsports next year, and it's even more impressive in the fact that, well, this past season, NASCAR President Steve Phelps was even quoted saying that he believes Rajah Caruth will be a future star. Maybe this is going to be a great chance to see some better equipment coming their way when Rajah is behind the wheel next season. And finally, some NextGen news. We got a chance to see the NextGen car driving out on the track a little bit with two instances. First one comes from the folks at NASCAR. Here's a little clip of Stewart Friesen taking some laps around a dirt track in the NextGen car. Now this is great for a lot of reasons. Obviously NASCAR will be racing at Bristol Motor Speedway again next year, and this kind of puts to rest the theory that they might run the Gen 6 at Dirt Bristol. So it does appear they are set in stone to drive the NextGen on the dirt as well. And I gotta be honest with you, just watching this, and you can watch it here with me, I probably got it on repeat at this point. This car looks as though it is handling a whole lot better on dirt than the Gen 6 did. So I'm pretty impressed with what I see here, and I can't wait to see it at the track at the Dirt Bristol race. And another test was seen yesterday by Christian Espinoza. He posted this clip to Twitter and just simply said some next-gen footage. And this is pretty interesting here. We see the cars going around the track, and my thoughts on this I posted to Twitter is that I'm not sure if I hear as much off-throttle time as much as I do checking up because they are running so close. So I'm going to stop talking for a second and let you guys kind of hear what I'm talking about here. Listen to them as they go into the corner. Now I will say that it is nice to see some passing and runs being made even when they have to check up because they are so close. But likewise, the temperature that was in the air today is pretty low. Looking at the weather in Charlotte, North Carolina, because this test happened at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it was really cold. I mean, it was 42 degrees and it has a feels like temperature of 39 today. Much colder temperatures today versus what we would see when the NextGen car will be racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course, for the Coke 600. And yeah, we're talking some huge temperature differences here. Probably about a 30 to 40 degree temperature difference from how it was running today versus race time. So I can't imagine that this test really gave us much of everything that we needed to know, because the temperature is going to be so much different that I just don't believe it's going to translate well into what we're going to see when we actually get there for the Coke 600 this year. And finally, one last story, and this is a huge story to talk about. This comes from our friends over at Jalopnik, specifically by Elizabeth Blackstock, who was the one who released this. Very serious allegations here regarding former NASCAR driver Brian Vickers' wife, as she has been alleged as a sex scheduler for Jeffrey Epstein. In the article written by Elizabeth, it says that in 2013, NASCAR driver Brian Vickers married a woman named Sarah Kellen, whose alias of Sarah Kensington has now become very familiar to anyone who's read through the countless things regarding Jeffrey Epstein and his offenses as a sex offender. As it turns out, this is because Sarah Kellen was one of Epstein's personal assistants and one of the people who was an accomplice to allowing him to acquire so many underage girls for sexual reasons. I mean, these are some serious allegations against her. It says in this article by Elizabeth that she kept a book of names of young girls who would be directed to give Epstein massages, only to later suffer some kind of sexual abuse. Kellen was said to book travel arrangements for these young women and lead them to Epstein's room. Even more disturbing things in this article is that Kellen was one of a small group of women who coached Epstein's victims on how to pleasure Jeffrey Epstein. Really, this is just too sad for me to keep reading to you guys. Please go check out the rest of Elizabeth's article on Jalopnik. It's definitely worth the read, but it is some just horrifying and disgusting news to add into the downward legacy of Brian Vickers. I mean, he is attached by marriage. He definitely is attached in all of this by way of his relationship with his wife, but I mean, gosh, this is just horrible to read. Of course, everything is still going on with Ghislaine Maxwell and her trials, but I can't believe I'm actually reading this. I knew that there was something where she might have had something to do with working with Jeffrey Epstein, but this just is more hard to believe allegations coming out regarding this, and I just can't believe what I'm reading here. But anyways, that was this week's big news stories regarding NASCAR from Danny B. Appreciate you taking time to check out Danny B Needs a Minute. We'll be back next Friday. Not going to be coming back on Monday, but we'll be coming back next Friday again during the off season. Probably going to be doing this on Fridays. And until next time, guys, I hope you have a great week. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye, guys. Hey race fans, thanks for watching this video from DannyBTalks. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss another video from my channel.